My name's Robbie. Been in solar for about 10 years. Helped probably a couple thousand people get solar throughout the United States, mostly here in California. We both live here in beautiful San Diego. And we just want to talk about a couple things that are really important that are happening today in real time in our industry with solar. Victoria, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Victoria. I do not have as much experience in solar as Robbie does, but my boy's got a decade's worth of experience in solar, working for some of the top companies here in San Diego and putting solar systems on thousands of people's roof throughout California. So I couldn't count on a better business partner than Robbie here.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What are some questions that you have lined up today for us to talk about?
I got a couple, but I think the biggest hot one that I have right now that I have people on the streets asking me when I run into them is what's happening right now with the current legislation that's going to have a huge impact on homeowners who are looking to go solar in 2023, next year.
Wow, that's a great question. All right, so the new legislature, Victoria, that you're talking about that just came out, that was released by the CPUC, California Public Utilities Commission, is NEM 3.0. NEM stands for Net Energy Metering. So for all the property owners out there, let me explain first. We're going to take a step back, and I'm going to explain exactly how a solar system works when you have a grid-tied solar system. For example, if you live anywhere in SoCal Edison or San Diego gas and electric territory, so you live in somewhere in LA or Orange County, you're probably SoCal Edison. If you live in San Diego County, you're going to be San Diego gas and electric. And all the energy that a solar system produces, 100% of that energy actually goes onto the utility grid. So that means that if you have a solar system, just solar panels without battery storage, all of the energy that your solar is producing, 100% of it is going from the solar panels through your main electric panel directly onto the SoCal Edison or San Diego gas and electric utility grid. Now, currently, under the Net Energy Metering 2.0 rules, which are still in play today, if you have a solar system, you're essentially getting market rate value for that energy. Meaning, if your solar system produces $10 of energy in a day and it goes onto the grid, you get a $10 credit on your utility account that you can use later that night, the next day, the next week, the next month. That rolls over for 12 months. What's going to happen with Net Energy Metering 3.0 starting in April of 2023 is that if you end up going solar after that date, you're going to get 25 cents on the dollar, roughly, for the energy that you export to the grid. So there's an incredible rush right now with everybody in the solar industry looking to get their clients Net Energy Metering 2.0 application submitted. And if you are a residential property owner and you're looking to get solar and you're aware of what's going on, you are probably also pushing your solar sales professional or your solar contractor to get into gear to make sure that your Net Energy Metering 2.0 application is locked in. So you get that full dollar for dollar credit for the next 10 or 20 years, depending on if you're in SoCal Edison or SDG&E. That was kind of a long explanation.
No, but I think it was very insightful. I think it's important for everyone to know what's happening in the market today, for especially those who've been thinking about going solar, but continues to push it back, because now is the time before you miss the boat. You don't want to miss it on like anything else, like stock markets, crypto when crypto
Right.
is hot. Like
Right.
this is an immediate guarantee right now where you can get into net metering 2.0 grandfathered, but starting after April 15th, you're going to be in net metering 3.0. And it's just not going to be as significant of a savings as you would have experienced in net metering 2.0.
Correct. And V, I think that you mentioned something that a lot of people can probably relate to. Is like stock market. Some people can relate to crypto. I think something easy, we can relate net energy metering 2.0 compared to net energy metering 3.0 would be the current housing market. Today, the current housing market price of homes in very populated areas are very high, right? Now, obviously, earlier in the year, we go back 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 months. That's when you had the highest prices for homes. The market has come down a little bit because of the Fed raising rates. So now interest rates are higher for mortgages. But if you go back, let's say 2, 3, 4 years, and you look at the cost of a home, let's say 4 years ago. So let's go back to the end of 2018. Okay. The price of a home, the average home in San Diego, was drastically less. Let's say 2017, 2018. And buying solar literally today before the net energy metering changes would be like going back and buying a home in 2017 or 2018. Now, everybody who waited to buy a home didn't buy one in 2017, 2018, for example, and bought last year or this year, you paid a lot more for that same home. That's exactly what's going to happen with solar. Now, there's ways around it, so we should also talk about those in a little bit. But if you haven't gone solar, I would really suggest getting with the contractor as soon as possible. If you don't have a very simple solar project and you don't have a contract signed, in place, site survey completed by, I would probably say like the end of January, there's not a high chance you're going to make it into net energy metering 2.0. Not to say there can't be exceptions. We'll put our links in the end of the video. But Victoria, what other questions do you think?
Wait. I need to do a quick little plug-in.
Let's do a recap.
No, we're going to do a quick little plug-in, actually. Because you said if you haven't reached out to your solar contractor, reach out to us.
Yes.
If you're looking into going into solar.
Yeah, we're actually a phenomenal
We are your solar consultants.
Contractor broker, where we actually partner with all of the leading hand-picked, both top nationwide and leading local contractors. Like I mentioned, been doing this for 10 years. So I have personally selected the best solar contractors to work with. We only deal with top-notch contractors, the best in the industry. We've got the best products you can possibly buy on the market with incredible prices, incredible value, and you get the best team. There is no better team. V and I, it's the best team. So we'll plug ourselves in later.
Thank you for that.
Plug, actually. So, all right, what else? What else do we have?
So let's just say we're talking to some potential friends, people in some our community networking, and they're going to say, I'm actually thinking about going solar, and you bring up net metering 3.0 that's coming up, right? So I would hope that other consultants like ourselves are going to say the first thing is going to be like, well, how's your roof? So what determines a good roof to go solar?
Yeah, great question. There's a number of categories that I always look at and that you should look at when considering going solar. So number one is going to be, how much roof space do you have? How high is your energy bill is really the first step, right? How much energy do you actually need? From there, we look at how much space do you have on your roof? Is it a flat roof? Is it an angled roof? Is it a simple A-frame roof, or do you have a ton of different facets on your roof that are going to make it a lot more challenging, and you're going to have a really broken up system where you have a lot of different arrays as opposed to an A-frame roof where half of your roof faces due south, perfectly south, the other half faces north. If you have an unshaded, perfectly south facing roof, that is going to give you the highest production, meaning highest energy output for your solar system. So that's the best. Unobstructed, meaning non-shaded, east or west facing is also excellent. We try to avoid north. However, if your roof is not super steep, we can still use a north facing roof. Now, that just is talking about roof angles, right? And roof sizing. Now also comes into play, what type of roof do you have? Do you have a composite shingle, meaning like an asphalt shingle roof? Do you have a concrete tile roof? Concrete tile can be either curved concrete that actually looks like a clay or a Spanish tile roof, or it can be flat. And then it could be a clay tile roof. Now, if you have a clay tile roof, it's actually Spanish clay. We're probably going to need to remove the tiles off of the roof, give you a brand new composite shingle roof, install the solar on top of that, and then we move the clay tiles right up to the edge of the solar system so it looks super sleek, like the system was built in with the builder from day one. But you're basically also paying for the cost of a brand new roof underneath the solar panels. There's a lot of factors. Of course, we do all types of those installs. Most top installers are going to also service all types of roofs. And there's just a lot of factors. So you want to get with the team, a solar sales professional team like us, that can actually help determine where do you want the panels, what type of roof do you have, and show you a proposal that's going to be accurate to your specific needs.
What about ground mounts?
That would not be a type of roof.
Yeah.
That would be a ground.
You can do ground mounts too, y'all.
Ground mounted systems are fantastic if you don't want to use the roof and you have adequate space. Now, I'm not talking you have a backyard that just has enough space where you think you can throw a ground mount in it. If it's like a small backyard, you don't want to do a ground mount.
We're talking about land.
You need land. You want a lot of land, preferably. For example, we're doing some systems for larger estates where there's a lot of land available that is not being used. And in those cases, one particular in mind, for example, multiple stack clay tile roof. It looks beautiful. You've got mortar in between every layer of the clay tile. That is a super pristine, gorgeous roof. We really prefer not to touch it. That's right. Now, we can do a roof mount on something like that. In this particular example, we're doing a ground mounted system, and then we do what's called trenching. So if you do a system that is mounted to the ground, you have additional cost for the structure of that system, right? A lot of the times it's going to be steel. It can also be aluminum as well for the structure that's holding those panels up, tilted towards the sun. You usually are doing 1.5 foot deep concrete pours, meaning that there's actually concrete circular pours where those aluminum or steel rack mounts that are holding the solar are permanently attached to. And then you trench, meaning 1.5 foot under the ground. You're bringing the wiring from that system all the way over to the main electric panel that feeds the energy to the home. So ground mounts are also a great option in the right situation.
And if you have more questions, DM us.
Correct.
Because we can go down a deep, no pun intended, but deep rabbit hole.
We can go as far as you want.
Trenching.
Yep.
And ground mounts.
You can take the blue pill or the red. We're down for either one. And
I don't know what he's talking about.
Neither do I. I saw The Matrix, I think.
Well, I think it's also really important to not only stress and pour salt in the wound right now about net metering 2.0/3.0. If you missed the boat, bummer. However, there's still solutions, and that if you have a high electricity bill and it makes sense for you and you qualify for solar, you should still go forward with getting a solar system and owning your own electricity. And here's the solution. What is it, Robbie?
Well, the solution is to get solar right away and get batteries. Correct.
Oh my God, you had me sweating.
Yes. There's going to be the majority of property owners who don't get solar in net energy metering 2.0 because we're looking at roughly, you can look up numbers on this, but like a 5% market cap in California, meaning only 5% of qualified homes today at the end of 2022, December 2022, there's like 5% of homes that could get solar have it. The number could be a little bit higher than that, but regardless, you have at least 90% of homes throughout California that could get solar that are probably a great fit for solar that don't have it. So, and not every utility is in net energy metering 3.0 either, but a lot of California is in the CPUC, right, which is going to be affected. So the way that we can get around it, and whether you're affected by net energy metering 3.0 or not, batteries are a great idea, because if you are getting a solar system for a couple of reasons, right? Number one, positive environmental implications. And then also you're avoiding high utility cost, but you're feeding all of that energy onto the grid, and then you're using energy from the grid, from the utility. You're still using dirty fossil fuels, right? Now, some of the energy from the grid could be coming from things like wind turbines, for example. Tons of wind turbines if you go East County of San Diego towards Palm Springs, but there's still a massive amount of resources required to make wind turbines, right? Like massive, like making one blade for a giant wind turbine takes an exorbitant amount of diesel fuel and gasoline to drive the trucks, to get the materials to the plant that makes that wind blade, that then gets the wind blade out to put the wind blade on the wind turbine mount, right? In addition, just the production of it. So the ROI on something like wind turbines is like a long time, but I'm kind of going down a rabbit hole here. The whole point is that if you really want to be part of the energy, the future of energy, right? Which starts now. It's today. You need to get battery storage, and you want to be using your solar system in a capacity where you are charging your batteries. So you want a battery storage system. Usually we put them in the garage because that keeps them from the elements, wind and rain, heat, cold. It's just better for the long-term life of the batteries in general. So you charge your batteries from your solar every day. This is how it works currently. And then a lot of the times people are exporting the energy with the current net energy metering during like peak hours from like 4 to 9 p.m. Now with net energy metering 3.0, we're going to be focusing on systems where the energy is stored in those batteries, and then the home is also using in real time energy that's coming from the solar system while the rays of light are hitting the solar panels. It's being passed through the system and powering your house in real time. In combination, it might be using also energy from the batteries at the same time. So there's a lot of different ways that you can design solar with battery storage. So not only do you have full, actual, true off-grid capabilities, but it also is going to work with the new legislative changes that are not only happening in the California Public Utilities here in California, which are the investor-owned utilities. But this is going to happen across the United States, and it's going to happen across the world. And for solar to truly make sense, it needs to be a closed loop system, meaning you need battery storage that is capturing all the energy from the solar. And then, for example, electric vehicles, right? If you want to have an electric vehicle and you want to be able to charge that electric vehicle, if you have the proper amount of battery storage and you have the proper amount of solar and you have an electric vehicle, you can not only power your entire house, you can also power your electric vehicle from that solar system and essentially be completely self-sustaining. So I see a lot of incredible opportunities for a clean energy future here.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but essentially what we're doing is we're eliminating utility company as a whole, the grid. It's a complete closed closed circuit loop. There we go.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, we eliminated them. Goodbye.
Yeah. And for the utility investors and or the utilities that are listening, we love you and we're not eliminating you. We will work with you. However, yes, what you said is absolutely correct. Essentially, there are systems that we will be designing that are on-grid, off-grid systems, where they are grid-tied systems. They are 100%, of course, everything we do is fully by code, right, up to current legislative requirements and standards, so that your system passes the city and the utility inspection. So you have a perfectly designed system that is an on-grid, grid-tied system. It just has the ability for you to use the energy to capture all the energy from your solar going to the batteries, and then you're using your own energy from the batteries. But you're still grid-tied, so if you need additional energy from the grid, your main breaker can pull that extra energy from the grid, or if you don't have enough batteries to store all the energy that your solar is producing, anything that you export to the grid, you're still going to get a credit, right? It's not like you're getting a zero credit with this new net energy metering 3.0. It just is going to be a reduced credit under net energy metering 3.0 compared to net energy metering 2.0 or net energy metering 1.0.
Great.
Yeah.
So go solar.
Yeah. What else do we have on the questions list that we wrote down?
So
what other good things do we got?
Obviously outside of the benefits of owning your own energy, preventing the utility companies from continuing to increase, about 6 to 8% utility costs each year.
Really high.
What else might be a reason for someone to go solar? What are some other benefits?
Great question. We haven't mentioned anything about tax benefits.
Yes, taxes.
Mm-hmm. So there are some great tax benefits for going solar. Now, if you purchase a solar system, meaning you're buying it cash out of pocket, right? Or there's an incredible amount of great loan options available today. So let's say that you would prefer to just save money, right? Instead of spending cash out of pocket, you can get a loan for your solar system, and you can finance that solar system with your battery storage all under one loan. So you get solar and batteries under one loan. Now, the total cost of your solar system, whether you pay cash or if you do a loan, you are purchasing that system. The federal solar tax credit for residential properties is 30%. That is going to extend for 10 years, right? And then after that, it tiers down. So starting in 2023, for 10 years after that, it's a full 30% federal tax credit. And then it's only going to tier down after that, right? Go from 30 and then 26, 22, 20, etc. But anybody who's getting solar right now, anytime in the near future, 30% of the total cost of your system is a tax write-off. So let's say, for example, you get a system that's,
Let's say 100,000. Make it easy.
perfect. I was like thinking in my mind, like, what number do I want to use here?
Make it easy.
Okay. Let's say, now keep in mind, $100,000 solar system.
Will not always be the case.
Yeah. Not everybody's going to be getting a $100,000 solar system, right? $100,000 solar system would be a very large home with a lot of solar panels and a very extensive battery storage system. But let's keep it simple. Let's say that you get a $100,000 solar system, and that is your loan amount. So you take out a $100,000 loan for your solar system for your 8,000 square foot home, right? And with that, you got multiple batteries as well. 30% of 100,000 is $30,000. I think I did my math right on that. If I didn't, just fire me right now. So your $30,000 tax credit means that off of the taxes that you owe on your federal tax return, you're going to file IRS Form 5695, IRS Form 5695. You're going to fill out line item 1 as $100,000, which is the total cost of your solar system with battery storage, because the tax credit is both on solar and battery storage. And then line item 6A on IRS Form 5695 is an accumulation of lines 1 through 5. It's just 30%, right? Now, there's other things in there. I'm not going to go down that. You can, if you get like geothermal and stuff, there's other credits for that, but we're not talking geothermal. We're talking solar. So if you owe $30,000 in taxes on your federal taxes, let's say for 2023, and you finance a solar system that is $100,000, you get a $30,000 tax write-off in 1 year. So for 2023, if you're going to owe $30,000, or let's say you need an additional $30,000 tax write-off, since we're using a $100,000 system, and I mentioned an 8,000 square foot home, you might need more than a $30,000 tax write-off, potentially. Maybe not. But you get a $30,000 tax write-off for the same calendar year that solar system is installed. Now, check with your CPA about this, on as far as having the system installed with or without PTO, to be completely safe with filing your tax credit. Not only do you want the system to be installed in that year, but you want a system that is installed, past inspection with PTO in that calendar year that you are going to file your tax credit. So I think it's a really great addition to getting solar, right? You can finance solar, pay less than your current utility bill when you finance solar.
When you say less, like as much as 40 to 50% less right now with net metering 2.0.
Currently today.
Correct.
Yes. Now, when we start adding battery storage onto the solar array, your savings might not be 40 to 50%.
True.
Because batteries are not inexpensive.
This is true.
But I hope that helps answer the tax question, at least. Should we talk about battery prices?
We can. Or we can talk about another solution for those who are thinking, and we've had this conversation many, many times, where homeowners are saying, well, I have a couple of other major projects that I want to focus on. And that's where most of my budget or my savings is going to go into these home projects right now. Obviously, there's cash, there's loans, but there's a third amazing option that you and I are quite big fans of. Mm-hmm. Which one's that one?
That is called the Power Purchase Agreement. PPA for short. That's the acronym, which is basically like a lease. So if you don't have a tax liability where you can use that tax write-off. For example, you could be retired and perhaps you're in a situation where you just don't have a tax liability. You, everything is paid off, right? Mm-hmm. You've got money in the bank. Sounds like a dream scenario right here, right? Everything's paid off, money in the bank, retired. I mean, hey, that sounds real good. So if you're in that real good situation, for example,
good life,
you don't have a tax liability or you just don't have enough of a tax liability where it makes sense. Third or would be that you don't want to take out a loan. You don't care about ownership. You don't need the tax credit, or you just don't want a loan and you don't want to own a system that something could go wrong with, right? Even though every single system that we install with all of our leading contractors has full 25 to 30-year warranties, not only on the service, workmanship, maintenance, but also all the hardware, solar panels, and everything. But let's say that you just don't want to buy it. You can lease the system or do a power purchase agreement. The installer, the solar installer, installs that system on the home. Absolutely $0 out of pocket for you as the homeowner. Now, you will see online the second that you have your cookies turned on anything on your computer or your phone, and there's websites and there's social media apps tracking what you're searching for on Google or tracking what you're looking at on any social media platform, Instagram, whatever it may be. You type in reviews on solar panels, looking at solar, looking at electric vehicles. You're going to start seeing ads saying completely free solar. The government pays for your solar, 100% free. Guys, nothing is 100% free in the world today, except for the air that we breathe, which is given to us by God, which is incredible. That's a whole nother journey we can take another time. However, the lease is phenomenal. I love power purchase agreements because the power purchase agreement simply allows you to have a solar system installed at no cost to you, and you are just paying a lower cost for the energy than you used to with the utility. So that was a really long journey that we took to get to me explaining what a PPA is. But let's say that you pay 35 cents per kilowatt hour currently on average to your utility company, Selco Edison or SDG&E, for example. And you don't want to buy the system. You don't care about ownership. You just want to pay less on your electric bill, right? That's the goal for most of our clients. That's a goal for most people we work with. They just want to pay less. You do a power purchase agreement, and instead of paying 35 cents on average, maybe your new power purchase agreement is like half of that cost, right? So you're fixing your cost of energy now at like 17.5 cents per kilowatt hour, for example, instead of 35 cents per kilowatt hour. So it's an instant savings, and the installer has to guarantee that that system is serviced, maintained, and produces power. Because your contract is a power purchase agreement, you are signing a contract to buy the energy that that system produces at the guaranteed rate per what's on the contract. So for example, 17.5 cents, just as an example, right? And it could of course be less than that, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm just using that as an example. So what would you prefer to pay? 35 cents per kilowatt hour that's going to go up 4, 5, 6+% every year with the utility? Or would you rather fix your utility cost at half of that and pay 17.5 cents? It's like if I handed you a gas card right now and that gas card locked in your price of gas for the next 20 years at half of what you're currently paying, and that gas card is free, you can use any gas station you want. You just have to use that card. That's pretty easy. Like, would you say yes to sign up to that card?
Absolutely.
That's what a power purchase agreement is, right? It just, your roof has to make sense. So that's the way that lease and power purchase agreements work. Well, lease is a little bit different. Power purchase agreement is the one that I would suggest for most people.
Yeah, they're fantastic. And I just want to clarify as well. We are working with homeowners who not only own their homes as their main residential home, but we're working with investment properties, Airbnb, short-term rentals as well. So it does not have to be your primary residence to just go solar for that property.
Yeah, very correct. Very true. We do work with a lot of investment groups and a lot of individual investors who have, like Victoria mentioned, investment properties for the purpose of renting out the house, whether it's a long-term rental or a short-term rental, VRBO or Airbnb. For a lot of those properties, because they're not primary residences, we do suggest the power purchase agreement. Now, of course, you can buy the system cash or take out a loan. But if you do a loan, the bank's going to want one person who's on the title of the home to qualify for that loan, to be responsible for that loan. And then if it's not your primary residence, technically the federal tax credit is only for your primary residence. So you need to speak with your CPA about how your rental might be structured if you're going to take a loan out, to make sure you do everything per the books so you don't get yourself into trouble and you do it correctly. But power purchase agreements for investment properties are phenomenal because you are simply lowering the operating cost for that property. The whole purpose of having an investment property that is an investment property that produces income is just that. Your investment property is to produce income. So if you're making $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 a month on that property, but the electric bill is $1,000 a month, wouldn't you want to just cut the cost of that electric bill in half and know that that's always going to be a fixed cost?
Yes.
Right.
It's a no-brainer.
Yep.
I'd love to know what my energy cost would be consistently so I can focus that other money elsewhere.
It's just easier to pencil in instead of like, oh my gosh, it's the middle of summer and we have an Airbnb. Like, we helped a friend get a really awesome ground mounted array on a beautiful Airbnb out in Morongo Valley, which is super close to Joshua Tree. And summertime, that home is going to use an incredible amount of air conditioning because it gets really hot. It's like 100 degrees, 110, 115. It reaches like up to 120 degrees out there. So that electric bill can easily be well over $1,000 per month. That particular loan, I don't remember exactly to the dollar, but it was like $350 a month. And I think we gave them 50% more energy than they were using on average, which was like $900 a month. So we're giving them like $1,350 worth of utility energy for like $350. That was a perfect scenario kind of for that particular one financially.
Yeah, it's a significant amount of savings right there.
Mm-hmm. What else did we pencil in for our chat today?
I think I just wanted to cover the high level key points right now and just kind of let this conversation marinate with our viewers. Mm-hmm. If you all have any questions, obviously, please reach out, DM us, let us know if you have any other questions, and we will also bring this up again for you all. What about you? Anything I missed?
Yeah, I think that we covered a good amount today. We talked about net energy metering 3.0. People are definitely going to have questions about that. Yes. It's going to be a continual conversation on our future podcasts. Mm-hmm. Yes. We also talked a little bit about the tax credit, roofs for solar. Most importantly, We are simply doing this to help spread the wealth of knowledge that we have about solar. And we really just love helping people. I'm in the solar industry personally because I truly believe that we need to do something to work towards a sustainable energy future that is better for our planet. And then it's also just an incredible industry. We're helping people save money. We're also helping people go green as well. So I think that pretty much sums it up for today.
I think so.
All right. Until next time, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you.